we were empty nesters, and we always said that when the kids were gone, we were going to move downtown. We just decided that at this stage in our lives, we were just going to push the pause button, and we just wanted to rent. It was worthwhile for me because the bones were so great, and I knew that the fixes that I wanted to do were doable. We upgraded part of the kitchen, we upgraded things in the bathrooms. We were able to transform them, yet we didn't have to completely renovate them. When you are renting, sometimes there's hesitancy around how far should I go? And we managed to find a compromise where we were perfectly comfortable with how much we wanted to make over and remodel and renovate, and what we could leave. It's actually a funny story because we walked in and the first thing that caught us was the light and the space. At the end of the hallway, it just opens up, and if you come in during the day, we face west, so the sun is just streaming in. It's beautiful. I loved that it was open. I loved that it's one sort of unified space, which is a nightmare for a lot of people, I realize that, but for me, it was fantastic. When you've lived one way, I think to do something totally opposite is often fresher and new and exciting. And for me, the challenge in designing it was still to treat it as one space, but it is 3 different spaces, and how do we make that work? It was just a builder basic kitchen that came with this condo whenever it was built. There was no backsplash, and the countertop, I think it was peach and like black and gray, you know, when everybody first had granite like in 1984 kind of thing, like it was like that. So first things first, I picked out appliances that I really, really love, but again, we're not gonna blow my budget. I also wanted to put in a backsplash because there wasn't one, and I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be practical. I wanted to be able to clean it. So I did do a little penny round because again, we have a lot going on in here, and I didn't really want to draw attention to the backsplash. I want it to be more of a texture, and it's so fun. I swapped out the counters. I left all the cabinetry, which is not cabinetry I would necessarily pick. So it was really my job to just sort of work with what I had. You don't really notice the things that bug you about the kitchen. You notice the other things. I have always wanted a tulip table. To me, it's a classic. I have always loved an oval table, especially in a small space. It's really easy to squish another chair around. I didn't want the table to define the area. I really wanted room to walk around, and it's a classic. Like no matter what chair you put with it, no matter if it's 10 years from now or 20 years from now, this table will still be a classic table. So we inherited the giant wall unit that came with the loft. It's funny because a part of me was horrified when I saw this giant wall unit because there is no closed storage. But then on the other hand, it really has become a blessing because we have had to really edit our things because this is our actual stuff. These are books we've actually read. This is silver that I use. That's my salad bowl. Like it's right out there in the open for everyone to see. My husband was thrilled because this was the big opening for the TV. So look how big the TV can be. So it's really a combination of being a place to show our treasures, and we've just had to be really neat and curate and edit our stuff. It was really important for me to have it be a distinct foyer space because it really is just a long hallway. You have to create your foyer space. Just a little table and place to sit down and put your boots and a mirror, and there's some artwork. So it's definitely noted that this is the foyer space. So when you walk down the long hallway, all the doors look the same. You don't really know what's behind door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. Door number 1 is a fun one. It's the powder room. The powder room before, basic tile, nothing offensive. The vanity had a drop-in sink. It was all laminate. It just looked tired. And after other tenants had been in here, the wear and tear was just showing. So I managed to install a nice wall sconce, a beautiful mirror, and I created and designed a new vanity, and I used the same countertop material in the kitchen and in both bathrooms. And I actually did put in a laminate vanity. I just put in a really nice laminate vanity. It sort of looks like a black Saffiano leather. We just created this whole great space, but we kept the basics. I didn't move the location of the vanity. I kept the floor. which you don't even notice now. You really notice the fun wallpaper, and you notice the vanity, and you notice the artwork in the space. So it wasn't the upheaval of having to completely do a bathroom renovation. The principal bedroom is huge. It's really large. We were able to get a king-size bed in our home. We had a queen-size bed. So this was like staying in the best hotel every night. The ceiling height is still 15 feet in there. So the headboard is pretty big, and it's a beautiful velvet headboard. That was fun, and infusing color and having custom night tables made. Again, that was for storage purposes. Everything has to serve double duty. That's the one blessing and challenge when you downsize. And not that our house was big, it was only 1,500 square feet. Here we have 1,160 square feet, so it wasn't a huge downsize, but everything here in our loft serves more than one purpose because it has to. I love our principal ensuite because I have a principal ensuite. When I was in my house, I did not have an ensuite. However, it too was a little tired. It just lacked a little bit of oomph. So we elected to keep everything and just rip out the vanity. Same thing that we did in the powder room. Put in a Caesar stone countertop, drop-in sink, got my sexy faucet in there because I love a faucet. I would wallpaper everything if I could, because to me it just adds another layer of interest, it's another layer of texture. We used a peel and stick wallpaper, but that way I felt that it wasn't a huge commitment if I decided to change it or wanted to change it, which of course I'm going to change it at some point because that's an occupational hazard, right? But I love it. We knew we were going to move to a condo or a loft or something, and we just hoped for like a little balcony, because outdoor space was a complete deal breaker. Then we saw this, and this was unbelievable. This was like almost as big as our backyard was. And it's now a whole other room full of furniture that I didn't say we have to buy. It was like, we get to buy. It was like, I was so excited because I'd never had beautiful outdoor furniture. I mean, we had outdoor furniture because we had kids and we had dogs, and it was just to be outside. Cut to this terrace. In the last 3 years, we have spent more time here than we ever did in our backyard. This year we did more planters and more color and I planted an herb garden this year. It's like I'm gonna have to give you guys some basil because I'm being overrun. It's sort of a continuation of the space, and it makes me happy every day. We couldn't have imagined that we would be this happy here. You know, we're very lucky, but we have been exceptionally happy here. The dogs love it. They're also golden retrievers, so really they love everything, but they have adapted remarkably well. I didn't know how much I would love living with less stuff. That was a big surprise, but it really is remarkably liberating and calming. And I think that that's what this space is. It gives me joy every single day.